position now and can't afford to drop any games. So I have no doubt RNG will be taken seriously, but I think TT, stylistically, the way they match up into it, gives them some good odds.
Certainly does. Zeri being banned away, I like that from TT. Removing the Wukong as well. It's Kalista and Azir taken away from TT. So removing some aggression from the bottom lane. And, you know, the Azir is just a comfort pick for UCal, but also just incredibly strong currently in the game. Gwen taken off the board as well by TT.
Yeah, so a lot of powerful picks trimmed away. Poppy is something that's still available on the cards. Highest presence champion that hasn't been. It's second highest presence overall. Only Kalista beats it out in presence on 12-14. So we'll see if RNG opt to ban that away or do leave it open and opt to maybe trade something else. So that's going to be left open. There is also Talia on the card. So TT have to choose which they want, and I expect RNG will probably respond with the Talia for themselves and then maybe look towards jungle, or even something like a Gnar could be picked up early, although has been toned down a bit on 12-14.
Yeah, 12-14 obviously changing the meta pretty substantially. We have seen a couple of those changes coming on through, but the Poppy still incredibly strong, still a fantastic first pick. And I think we're the highest presence region for Poppy. Like LPL absolutely adores Poppy, happy to blind pick that every single time. The Talia locked in though for the side of RNG. Xiaohu's been a monster on Talia. I mean, Xiaohu's a monster on everything, but he's got 7 games on Talia, 85% win rate, 7 KDA. Like, it fits his playstyle so perfect.
Oh, absolutely. It's been so monstrously good. I do just want to mention the Poppy point. Poppy has a 96% presence, but only 2 picks on the patch because it's been banned so frequently. So a bit of a rarity. We're going to see it today. Now, RNG do take the Sivir. We've seen a lot of Sivir and Zeri trade-offs, like Sivir, Yuumi, Zeri, Lulu. Zeri's obviously banned in this situation, so TT need to come up with an option they want to take into this. And, you know, we typically see them invest in that early aggression. So could see them go in that regard. And they are looking at the Alistar. This is one of the supports with a pretty good matchup into Sivir because she can't spell shield your engage like she can against Nautilus. I mean, even Leona, you can obviously threaten the spell shield for when she throws the ultimate down. So TT will lock that in for Yao Yao. And we'll see what they opt to go for. It looks like they might match the Talia in the mid lane with that Ahri. Obviously, you can play around the Unraveled Earth, use the fact you have 3 dashes to maintain a distance away from the Talia.
Yeah, so that Ahri locked on in. And now over to the side of RNG, looking towards jungler by the looks of things. You know, Trundle has been classically the pick into Poppy, just very good. Shred the resistance away with your subjugation ultimate and make Poppy a little bit less tanky. But also, you don't have a dash, right? So a huge portion of Poppy's kit not usable against you. While the bans filter in, I just want to quickly mention this Sivir pick for Gala. So far, he's only played it 2 times this split. However, they were both wins, and he does boast a 24 KDA on the champion this split. So even if TT fall behind in this game, the goal here is give Gala 2 deaths. Just ruin his KDA. Just annihilate that statistic. That's the
and
objective.
No more pentakills as well, I think is safe to say. RNG start banning AD carries. Interestingly, ban the Kai'Sa. I feel like it's not something we've really seen at all. But obviously, Gala is very proficient in the Kai'Sa. And I feel like often when your own team has a player proficient on a pick, they know when a pick can be really threatening, can be really good. So they ban that away. And TT ban away the Jax. Notice that the Yuumi is still available. We often see things like Sivir paired up with the Yuumi. Really powerful scaling bot lane. And the fact you can just wave clear really mitigates a lot of threats. So I wouldn't be surprised to see TT ban Yuumi here. They could also go in another direction, looking towards the top lane. That Gnar is still available, which has still been priored a decent amount. But remains to be seen. Ultimately, at this point for Kepler, a lot of AD carries trimmed away. Well, I mean, 4 in total.
No. Yuumi's open. This is a scary Yuumi game as well with a Trundle. Like, I feel like this is a Yuumi game for me, but I mean, we'll see what Ming reckons.
I'm not sure if Ming will feel the same. Is the thing. They might want to feel like they want some engage, which they often rely on for Ming. Also, they might pick more for the matchup. Remember, one of the things with Yuumi is that if you have a safe lane, perfectly fine, but into an Alistar that can threaten the engage, something like a Braum makes sense, right? Alistar really struggles in the Braum because when you go in, you're going to get locked down by the stun. It's hard to escape again, and obviously Alistar is very much a go-in champ, can't go out again, like things like Rakan. So they will end up locking that one in. And now for
Ming's
TT...
just a Giga Chad. That's what it is. He's not got a single Yuumi game all split. Locks in the big muscly man. Ming ain't messing about with kitty cats down in the bottom lane. Over inside TT, hovering at Twitch right now.
Yeah, I'm really not a fan of this here because you're into the Braum. You can easily just block the ultimate. They're going to go for the Gnar for Hoya, which, I mean, with things like the Jax band away, it makes a lot of sense. It's something we've often seen picked in the Gnar, and with the nerfs, just base health, even more threatening. And now for the 80 carry for TT. I mean, with, I feel like I'm not honestly sure what you go for in this situation, because I feel like with the Alistar, you want to go something aggressive that can find the all-in windows. And they're going to go for the Twitch. So this is a bit of a weird one for me, because the whole point of Twitch is like you pop your ultimate, and for that brief period, you're insanely powerful, right? But up into a Braum, he just pops his E, and you know, you block a significant amount of his threat, of his damage. So I'm not convinced, but we'll see what TT can do. Clearly, they want to match scaling with scaling, but also have a bit of pick potential. If we do see Gala farming alone, and often he is left isolated to farm, Kepler can definitely find kills onto him.
Breathe goes with Gangplank in the end. And, you know, people always talk about Aphelios struggling against Gangplank from the Cannon Barrage. Very similar story for Twitch. You don't have any mobility, right? Unless you're going for a Gale Force, which you'd anticipate maybe something like Kraken Slayer. The Cannon Barrage can be really detrimental to the Twitch's game plan. So could be a tough one for Kepler, but he has been one of the players we're highlighting coming into this series. So perhaps this creative pick, this different style of gameplay coming out from TT could be the ticket to take an upset against such a heavy favorite like RNG. So talk to me about how these comps have to operate, Orcs, coming into this one. Like, what did TT do to make this Twitch work?
So I feel like they want to put attention down towards the bot lane, and they want to focus on trying to find advantages. Those dives we saw, we were demonstrating a little bit with the clips before the series. I want to see those happening, because I really struggle to see them coming out strong in the later stages of the game, just because the team fighting from RNG is so strong, and the damage to the, I mean, there's not going to be a front line for the side of TT. Gangplank got changed on this patch. He's a little bit weaker in the early game, a little bit less base health, but his passive now scales with crit. I've seen it do like 900 damage, true damage on an auto. It's
not
ridiculous.
bad, is it?
Like, if you're playing Poppy or Alistar and he's just autoing you for 900 true damage, I mean,
like,
well, on top of a Talia and a Sivir, like, what are you supposed to do?
It's like one of those, it's almost like, you know, sometimes you get a bug in a game where a developer accidentally put a 0 on something, and it's just like way too scaled. That feels like late game Gangplank passive, where it just burns someone alive. It's like a Giga red buff, except insanely strong. We're jumping onto the Rift, though. A lot at stake here. TT needing these wins. If they want to make it to playoffs, they need to get to 7 wins at least here. They've got 3 attempts to do it. They would love to get an upset against RNG. Whereas for RNG, they need a 2-0. If they lose a single game, they cannot contest JDG in the standings anymore.
Yeah, so very important. I think it goes without saying that they managed to get wins on the board, and just trying to get, you know, straight 2-0s, not going for those 2-1s. And we've seen times, you know, where stronger teams have messed up in those individual games. I feel like RNG have come in with a draft where I expect them to be able to deliver. The team fight scaling is absolutely excellent. They have a good matchup in the jungle. I think they're happy that they got Talia in the mid lane. Bot lane matchup is fine. Top lane as well. You know, we have seen both these top laners take nerfs to their base health, which will change the matchup a bit, but I think Breathe very comfortable. And even starting off with this invade level 1, there is nothing you can do on the side of TT. I mean, Braum, Trundle, you don't mess with that.
I mean, even Sivir is pretty damn strong at level 1 as well. If you go for the Boomerang Blade, like, the damage is reduced if it hits minions, but if it doesn't, it really chunks people out. Already, Breathe going forward very aggressively in the top side. Does have that Corrupting Potion, so we'll have a bit of sustain. Beitron going for an invade, but Xiaohu not having it. He's level 2 right now. Beitron has got to leg it. Gets the smite on the chicken, but punish heavily. Whoa, wait! Gets a solo kill in the mid lane! It's reverse day!
What is good? They just switched roles. Wait, I mean, I want to see how that mid lane play happened. Obviously, Trundle's super strong just at level 2. But something really important is because Xiaohu stole some of the little raptors, he denied the level 2 from Beitron, scares him out, and oh, I mean, he's already taken the red buff. Now he's hunting for... This is just bullying.
Oh, no. This is brutal. This is insane. Beitron getting chunked out. Xiaohu's moving over. He has flash available. Does he have seismic shove? Gonna go for the Q. Does not flash in the end. He just about gets away. I'm not even sure who got the wolf there. Whether Yukal was able to snag it, I don't know. But either way, Baytron denied everything here. I'm assuming he has smite as he walks towards the chickens. Let's take a look at what on earth happened in the mid lane.
I mean, he just runs at him. And the thing, oh, Yukal's so pushed up because he's like, I'm laning 1v0, which I guess you just don't expect the Trundle. But I love that Way looks like he's going to back away as the Q cooldown's coming up, and then flash auto Q. Yeah. Now it's still the blue, still the Grump. RNG are coming in with, this is business, right? This is taking it seriously. This is not messing around. This is, we are going to crush you.
The crazy thing is, we came in today saying, look, if TT have a strong early game, you know, the mid-jungle support, like, maybe it's... Nah. Support's not even a part of the equation. It's just Way 1v1's Yukal and Xiao 1v1's Baytron. Absolutely insane. Baytron now entering his jungle tentatively onto those Krugs, but look at the rest of his jungle. There is literally nothing on the map for him.
And look at Way's jungle, by the way, as well. He still has both buffs up. He still has Grump, Wolves, and Krugs. And also notice, if you look at the Skull Crabs, both secured for the side of RNG. So Baytron is level 2. What does he do? He has hit level 3 at least off this camp, but like, what are your options? You're so far away from top lane, but the wave is going to bounce back anyway by the time you're there, so Breathe is going to be safe. Bot lane is pushed in, you can't gank there. Xiao has the wave just in front of his tower here. You can't gank anywhere. What do you do? So I don't know.
This might be the most brutal start to a game, like in terms of the jungle, that I've ever seen. Honestly, Baytron now trying to make something happen. Spotted as he tries to move in towards the Raptors. You can see Way is headed straight on over though. Baytron spot. Oh no. Nothing is going well for Baytron. He's moving in. He wants the red buff. He's level 3 versus level 4 here. Does have priority top lane.
But Hoya's low. There's no way they can go for this invade. I think he's looking for, I don't know, just help him crash the way. Leech some XP. But look, Xiao's actually walking up as well. Oh my god. This is just absolutely brutal. He's just, like, for the past minute, he's just walked around the map and done nothing. And it's not even on him. There's nothing he can do.
Yeah, it's just everything denied from him. And this is such
Look at the CS.
I know, 14 to 35. He's 2 levels down in the jungle at 5 minutes. That is just absurd. Baytron really not having a fun time of it. He's finally on his Wolves. At least he can get something for himself. But in the meantime, the rest of the map's going pretty well for RNG as well. I mean, almost a 10 CS lead in the top lane. Almost a 10 CS lead. In fact, more than a 10 CS lead. Before these minions are swept up down in the bottom side as well. This is just destruction across the map. There's more than 1,000 gold lead with just 1 kill on the board in favor of RNG right now. There's a stun in the bottom lane. Boomerang Blade to follow up.
Yeah, I mean, this game's just going fantastically. And now, Xiao's just hit level 6. He has the Weaver's Wall available. So it's even more risky for if you're trying to make plays as Baytron. The Talir can turn up very quickly. See Baytron once again clearing out this ward. But on the bot side, Scuttle is spawning, RNG are there, there's Raptors up, there's Krugs, there's red buff for Baytron, going to spawn soon, but honestly, RNG could probably just push in. Even look how Xiao who's playing in the lane. Like, he's not playing to his tower, he's playing to, we are leaning bot, and we're just going to deny as much as possible away. Baytron is going to head over tentatively, try and protect his jungle, but Way is after him.
Baytron really wants these chickens. He really wants to just get a camp uncontested, but Way's just going to move mid. Instead, Yukal could be in trouble here. Xiao Hu is not... Oh, what a pillar! Max range from Way. Yukal forced to use that Spirit Rush for basically no cooldowns from the side of RNG. Now we move to the bottom lane. All in here comes out from Ming. Gets damage down. That's a cannon barrage, so forcing a flash from Yao Yao.
Yeah, and now with no ultimate from Yukal, Yayo's just burned his flash and the heal as well. RNG now feel confident to go in. They do their homework. They don't just charge in and allow TT to respond. They make sure they have advantages mid and bot, and that's when they can go in and steal away this red. So Baytron does still get his Raptors and his Krugs. Obviously is able to catch up and experience a bit. Comeback XP does do that, but Way hits level 6 first, and now Baytron. I would be really careful about this. That Trundle has ult.
Oh no. Oh, Xiaohu's actually in trouble. Has to cleanse away from the ignite. Luckily for him, that Spirit Rush was burnt. This is a tight mid lane, though. This is incredibly intense. Just dodges the Orb of Deception. My god, the matchup between these two mid laners is a close one right now, but the Drake will go the way of RNG.
Yeah, and it's Cloud Dragon as well, which is fantastic. I honestly feel like Cloud is one of the best early dragons you can get. 7% out combat movement speed works out to be at least 20 movement speed. You know, it can be up to as high as 28 if you have 400 base. But like, it's basically like a mini Moby Boots for everyone on your team. And especially for a team like RNG, who we've always praised for being so intelligent, for the great map rotations. You give them like that extra ability to be there first, to rotate around the map quicker. And it's an edge that I don't think RNG really needed, but they will absolutely take.
Oh, yeah, 100% they will take that advantage, especially with the comp that they have, right? Trundle getting a bunch of movement speed to Leah to roam around the map. Day1, oh no, buddy, you've gone to the wrong part of town here. Good little ultimate from him, but the flash forced out by Xiaohu. Ming and Gala have moved up for the Herald as well, and Yukal realizes that ain't a ward he can fight over right now.
Yeah, I find it hilarious. Way gets knocked straight into the brush. It just clears out the control ward, like zero downtime in that one, but they end up getting the ult and the flash from Baytron. Something else burn in this situation. Yeah, your flashes as well. Has to be a bit careful. He doesn't step up too far.
Oh no, he's stunned. He's knocked up. There's another stun to follow up, and RNG just will not cease this game. They're just pushing forward endlessly. TT wanted to fight for this Herald, but they don't even get the option.
Oh, and I just feel like this is just textbook how to, you know, force these little plays, things like trying to find the summoner early on, a Yao, the flash, and how it snowballs. You burn a flash from the support, they're trying to set up for Herald, you punish the fact he's flashless, and then that leads to getting that Herald. And remember, extra 200 local gold as well, so that's just 300 gold from securing the Herald, and now they can use that to try and get some more resources snowball this game. RNG are really putting on a clinic in this early game.
And I feel like there's a term that's used in traditional sports that is really applicable to a game like this, and that's the concept of forced and unforced errors. Xiao, who's in trouble, flashes away, but Yukal held the charm for so long. Beautifully played by Yukal, and this is the three-man combo that we talked about coming in today. TT working as that three-man squad.
This is them at the best when Yao, Baytron, and Yukal pair up looking for those plays, and it's definitely been a rougher early game for TT. It has been RNG setting the pace, but I'm glad to see they start to look for these opportunities, these windows when given the chance. It's just going to be a kill. It's just going to be a wave push in. Not too much of an advantage picked up, but definitely some much needed gold for TT.
Yeah, definitely. TT getting something on the board. But I want to go back to my point about unforced errors, because like quite a lot of teams in the LPL, especially middle of the table teams, it's much more about like trying to play correctly and like not lose control of things. But then when it comes to the top teams, it's not about just waiting for your opponent to make an unforced error. RNG forced TT to make errors. The amount of pressure that they put on across the map, like the way that they bullied Baytron early on, and then the way that they pick apart TT leading into the Herald. It's so difficult for teams like TT to play against a squad like RNG that are so coordinated and so on the same page, you know? It feels like everything is a drilled maneuver.
And I feel like, you know, it's really accurate, the fact that you say they're picking them apart and they're forcing these errors, because often if you play against weaker teams, you don't even realize that you're making mistakes because they go unpunished. Yeah. And they only become mistakes against these lineups who really are great at executing and forcing them to become a problem. That's where it dawns on you, oh, I guess I shouldn't exist at this time of the game when they have GP Ultimate. And it's like, well, that's a pretty rough one to try and deal with, but lesson learned. Better luck next time now. RNG once again.
You see that? Wei comes into the mid lane and you just see the fear of God in Yukal's eyes as he sprints towards his tower.
I mean, it started early, the fear of that Trundle with that level 1 dive that came in, and now they have the prio mid secured. They're going to contest these Raptors. Baytron has to be super careful here. Yukal is trying to help, but might be in... Oh, no.
There we go. Flash burn. Very nicely done here by RNG. Baytron, though, might get his chicken, despite his on cooldown for Wei, as Hoya trying to dive, breathe in the top side here, but with the barrels, should be able to clear this wave out, keep himself safe. Does have cannon barrage as well, so Hoya going to be a little cautious how aggressive he goes, but look towards the bottom side on the mini-map right here. Gala pushing this one forward. Remember, that Herald was taken by Wei, and you just love to give all of that plate gold to a Sivir. That sounds like a dream come true.
Yeah, going to end up being shared a little bit, but the first tower being picked up early, an absolute boost to RNG. And ultimately, look how respectful Breathe is playing. He knows that there's potential for them to lean topside, punish here. He gives up his wave, and obviously Hoya having that aggressive play early is Oh, they're going for another dive. They might just get the
They're
tower.
not even... This isn't even cross-map play. They're just brute forcing it. Triple knockabout from Yao Yao, but it don't matter. Forces a flash, and now a pillar is there. 2 sent flying, though, and Gala and Xiaohu find themselves alone. In goes the Poppy. Xiaohu turns gold, and Gala trying to get the damage out, but he's an early game Sivir. He just doesn't have it in him. Xiaohu keeps himself alive, finally goes down, but goes 1 for 1. Baytron now has to flee from the play. I can't believe RNG got away with this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a trade of kills, but so many summoners burn from TT, and in the end, 2 towers taken for RNG. Yukal will get some plates in the mid, but this is definitely not an even trade.
Not even close. Yukal at least will be big individually, so perhaps that's an avenue back into the game for the side of TT, but my goodness, just the brute force play in the bottom side.
Yeah, and actually, you know, Yaya plays a bit risky here because the combo going in, he has to flash out, but then there's things like the pillar that make it very hard to escape. Baytron actually has a fantastic ult, knocking away the front line, and that's where things get scary. And also, makes the right call going for Xiaohu. As much as he has cleanse, Gala was ready with the spell shield, and they do at least manage to trade a kill here, but still, you've lost 2 towers, and oh, they're looking to try and get the dragon.
Oh, this is a big pick. This is a huge pick. Wei goes down. 4v5 now. TT have control of the area. They got the Infernal Drake. I'm not quite sure how the setup happened for this play, honestly, but RNG caught out of position.
Yeah, so I assume because RNG made such a long play bot lane, right? You push for 2 towers, you end up there for such an extensive amount of time. They then reset, and TT were on the dragon first. And so I think RNG got a bit greedy, still try to contest it despite the fact that they really had no right to, and TT find a pick off the back of it. So still a 2,000 gold lead for RNG, but you've equalized in terms of those dragons, and you've managed to at least keep the gold not too far away, but still definitely advantage for the side of RNG. Something I do want to note, Blade of the King coming in for the Twitch. Blade of the King is such a big spike in general, but particularly for a Twitch as well, really starts to be the point where if you find an opportunity, you can shred through someone.
You definitely can, especially if he's getting into things like Kraken Slayer as well. He'll start to really stack up the damage. Damage towards Hoya. Nice little hop there to dodge the barrels, though. Well played by Hoya. He's been doing pretty decently up in this top lane, you know, threatening the dive earlier on onto Breathe, forcing him away. CS very, very even despite, you know, Breathe being forced away from a couple of waves earlier on. So Breathe has been doing a good job to maintain himself up there. Yukal now moves down to the bottom side, but denied. And this right here is the power of that gangplank pick.
Yeah, and it means they can go for the second Herald. Kiki can't contest 4v5, and they don't even get anything in the cross map. So RNG just ensuring they win out in both regards. Hoya is mega, isn't really able to do anything. Remember, the second Herald is that super tanky one, able to make really strong pushes. Considering RNG already got 2 towers with the first Herald. Yeah, I don't think they need a tanky Herald here, but they'll get one.
I was like, on that first play, my brain said, oh, wait, this is the tankier Herald. And then it realized, no, that's the first Herald. Imagine what they could do with number 2, especially if they went towards that bottom side. RNG, they could find an angle. Maybe you could just end the game with this second Herald, and I wouldn't even put it past them. Honestly, the RNG have been so aggressive today. Like, when you think about RNG, you think of really good mid-game, like passive early game, wanting to scale into things. No, not today. Today, they are being so proactive and so aggressive across the map.
And I feel like even the level 1 invade, this is something we kind of actually saw earlier, the split from Tian into Wei. There was that game where he put him massively far behind, and it was with these like level 1 invade strategies. That was the theme of the Top Esports RNG series, was Top Esports setting up advantages in the jungle early and capitalizing on them. So I think it's really cool that RNG have done something similar here and given a similar level of treatment towards Baytron. Now, obviously, at this point, Baytron's caught up. He's actually ahead in levels and he's even in CS, but the damage was done. It's allowed RNG to get this early lead and be in a position of advantage in the mid game. And I said it before, I feel like RNG are just going to be favored in the late game, right? Slayer scales exceptionally well. Sivir obviously does. Trundle and Braum do fantastic jobs facilitating, and then the GP as well. So TT, I feel like this game's on a time. Oh, Kepler.
Oh, Kepler's pinned. So's Baytron knocked back, but they can't actually go under the tower here. They ran out of minions. Yao flashed away from. Good attempt there. Yukal now over the wall. Hoya's arriving as Mega Gnar is Mink charmed in, slammed against the wall. He is Braum, but he ain't tanky enough just yet. RNG knocked away now, but Gala is doing a lot of damage with these ricochets. Hoya forced a flash. How are they forcing summoners out while at a disadvantage?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they just have to be really cautious in this situation because RNG have so much potential to trap a target with things like the pillar. But even so, it's a really positive play for TT. They bring in Yukal with the teleport, and Ming just kind of caught sleeping there, caught by the charm, and the execution was there with Hoya roaming down. Now, Breathe trying to threaten the tower, but Ari has enough wave clear just to quickly dissuade you.
Yeah, crucially as well. Oh my god, damage onto Yukal. I'm impressed by TT though. Even though these fights are incredibly close, that's 2 in a row that TT are finding angles on, right? They keep Kepler alive here. They manage to deny the initial aggression from RNG.
Yeah, doing a great job. I thought Kepler was just gone there, but RNG don't want to overcommit. But then here, the control ward in the brush, and, you know, we see Ming go and put a ward himself, but that makes him just a little bit too close for comfort. Hoya was there with a roam as well. And I think that's the thing, is TT doing a good job of finding these proactive kills to try and offset this deficit.
Yeah, definitely. And crucially, right? Because they need to keep themselves even. You don't want to go against a late game Sivir while massively behind, especially with Gangplank scaling in that top side as well. Day1 trying to get some money through as he's battling way for river control. Drake is onto the map once again. And I feel like we're just going to see these two teams scrap endlessly this game.
Yeah, something to mention. Oh, Ming caught out.
Ming very caught out here, but Unbreakable's in the wrong direction. It won't matter too much. Glacial Fissure comes across the play as Breathe TPs into the situation here. RNG now trying to make the play, but Xiaohu caught in the mid lane. Taken down using the stealth. Very nicely done by TT. 4v5. Another great charm from Yukal. Ming caught out again, but he survives. No, the dot taking away the true damage. Is it enough, Ming? Just about lives on through with the skin of his teeth. Now Hoya on the bottom side of the play. We continue in this skirmish as the Herald looks towards mid lane.
Yeah, Herald was about to time out, so they have to throw it down. Does a decent chunk, but doesn't take the tower. And RNG, you know, you've had your support reset. Xiaohu is down, but has the Weaver's Wall to get back. They still want to contest this dragon, despite the fact they are down 2 members right now. Cal
Hoya trying to get into position to get something done here, but underneath the Drake, can't really do all too much for the time being. Xiaohu's headed back over and has Weaver's Wall available, crucially, so it's a difficult one for TT, and I think they've realized that this is no longer a play that they can contest. Ocean sold this game, and RNG will get their second Drake halfway towards that soul.
Yeah, and I think the reason they don't want to contest is because TT are so ult reliant. You know, no ultimate for the Ahri, no ultimate for the Twitch or the Alistair. I feel like you lose so much power off the back of this, whereas on the other side, you know, GP and Talia don't really need that ultimate to be powerful.
No. Oh, yeah. That's not the place to be, my friend. And the unraveled earth as well, just there to stop him hopping away. Beautifully played by RNG. And the problem is, the second they catch you once, they will take so much. Look at this, 1 mid tower already gone down. Looking for a second, but here we go with the Keeper's Verdict. Ming is gone. See you later, Ming. Can they find any more though? Baytron knocked into the team and just gets 1 shot. There we go. 2 picks and 2 towers for RNG.
And now jungler dead. They have a ton of DPS on a Baron and a tanky jungler who can soak up the damage. Why not? You know, 21 minutes. Why not just start up the Baron? TT look like they want to try and come over and contest this. It's going to be so hard though, especially if Ming can block the ultimate from Kepler. That can make all the difference.
It's going to be impossible. Surely impossible. Kepler has to be the carry. Barrage doing a lot here to block, but the Baron's already gone. Ming flashing forward with a Glacial Fissure. It's a good knockup from Yao Yao, but it ain't enough. 2 more kills for RNG. 1 single pick leads to 2 towers, a Baron, and 3 more kills. That is unbelievable.
That's all you have to do. 1 mistake from TT, 1 little error coming out from Hoya, and RNG capitalized massively and have just slingshotted themselves ahead in terms of the goal lead. Resets will come out in a moment. You can see the items picked up. Breathe nearly has an Infinity Edge on top of those 2 items he has already. We see Seraph's completed 4 showers. We go on the replay. And what I love here is the Unbreakable's used early before Twitch shows. But look at Ming. Flashes forward with the ultimate. And then Gala even connects when the Winter Spike comes in. He's like, I am killing Twitch. We see the ultimate popped by Kepler, but there's nothing you can do when you get stun locked.
You see the Gimgoon skin coming through there for Breathe as well. Living up to the LPL heritage on his Gangplank. And as you say, close to an Infinity Edge with a Shield Bow and an Essence Reaver already locked in. And if you thought the pressure was pretty scary from RNG up to this point, well, with a Baron, you're going to have your mind blown here. 7-5 on the scoreboard, 22 minutes in, and a 6,000 gold lead for RNG. Now setting up these side lanes so that they can get some pressure out for the next 90 seconds with this Baron.
Yeah, and you see UCal pushing up here with Bayshore. They might try and make a play on Breathe. They have to be so cautious and not collapse them. Even look at the river now. RNG just speeding over. Like, you want to mess with our top laner?
UCal Spirit rushes. Day1 is going to catch Ming alone here. But Xiaohu moves on over as well. The knockback onto Yao Yao. Unbreakable Will already used here. Big damage out from Gala though, as he'll be able to shred this Alistair. And this just doesn't look like a fair fight. Cannon Barrage comes on in as Wei arrives with a pillar as well. Kepler down, and Wei happy to tank the tower as they just charge forwards towards Day1. Look at the damage out from Gala. He's just cutting through TT one by one. Turns Golden. Ming in to tank the tower, but UCal turns it around. Ming 1 HP, but no ult available for UCal.
Gala, a little bit of a mistake there. Trying to go for the dive at the end. Trying to stopwatch to buy time. Just didn't really work out, but you saw RNG, saw blood in the water, hunting them down, using that movement speed from the Sivir. It's a Ghost as well, both of which were set on a takedown, and they managed to charge them down, pick up that tier 2, and now all the towers outside of the base off TT are off the map. We'll see the replay, and this play takes a while to get going because they're initially trying to pick the RE, and there's also the ult coming in from the Poppy, so it means a lot of time is bought. And then we actually get a really nice charm from UCal here onto Xiaohu, which he just doesn't expect. Cleanse is actually quite late from Xiaohu, him getting focused down. But unfortunately, Cannon Barrage comes in, the rest of the team catch up. And I mean, we're getting kills in the bottom left, we're getting kills on screen. TT can't help but die.
They certainly can't. Gala tries to go for the dive at the end as well. And you know, we talked about the Cannon Barrage being a pain in the ass for Twitch. Well, add a Pillar of Filth to that as well, and it's impossible for Kepler to survive these fights if RNG are targeting him. It's such a difficult one. 11-6 on the scoreboard, an 8,000 gold lead. Drake coming up in 30 seconds as well. And the beautiful thing for RNG here is they don't even have to just go for the Drake. They can use the lane pressure, try and siege inhibs, and then turn it back around.
Okay, we'll see the setup. Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for Yaya trying to set up some vision here, but there's just no way. RNG really doing a good job of playing for picks, and this is a really hard comp to play the Alistair. Honestly, I feel like only UCal is equipped with 3 dashes to try and not get pinned down in place. Now, TT are trying to potentially push up and save the contestants. I don't think you stand a chance. I think you should just give this one and maybe play for Soul. They are going to push up, though, see what they can do, but the Dragon's just gone.
Dragon already gone here. Whale smite that one as RNG now in full retreat. You can see Gangplank in the mid lane, not with the team, but even 4v5. I feel like I favor RNG with the gold lead that they've got for themselves. 2 Ocean Drakes as well, so the sustain across this team is kind of disgusting. Obviously, that's only out of combat, but even still, terrifying to have to go against as Breathe can just clear the waves in the mid lane. And you can see TT starting to move towards that mid lane as the Dragon was starting to try and answer there. But because of Breed's positioning, there's no answer anywhere on the map for TT.
Yeah, they couldn't really engage on the bot side when, you know, Breathe had TP and Cannon Barrage, and there's so many things for RNG to kite. So, but I like the play. They kind of cordon off RNG and go for the mid tower, but it still doesn't work, right? Xiaohu comes into cover, Breathes there. They don't get anything back, but at least they try to get something from the Dragon play in return. Now, Bayshore looks to be caught out.
Wei trying to move forward. It's a good charm. It will mean Baytron gets out with his life. So, we kind of have a moment to reset here. Baron up in a minute's time, and I feel like RNG very much in control of the game, right? I think that goes without saying. But the scary thing... Yeah, I know, yeah. The scary thing, though, honestly, is look at Gala and Breathe's items, man. They are terrifying, both of them. We're only 26 minutes in, and we've got 2 crit carries on the side of RNG that are fully online. A TP now coming out from Xiaohu to join the squad and set up for this Baron.
Yeah, 30 seconds on the Baron. Oh, Breathe is going to end up getting the reset off here. This is, again, I like this play from TT. You know you're really going to struggle contest the Baron. You know they're going to play for picks in it. Try and get a pick in the side lane before it spawns. Unfortunately, it doesn't end up working. And, I mean, it sounds weird to praise TT when they're 7k goal behind, but I love that they're still trying to make these proactive plays happen, still trying to find something, but it just feels so hard to find anything.
And you have to remember that TT have found picks with this Twitch this game, like Xiaohu getting caught out before one of the Drake fights, for example. Like, there have been good moments for TT using this Twitch. So if we can see that continue to extend, maybe there's chances. With RNG just grouped as a 5, feels impossible. TT trying to move in. Yao Yao over the wall. Day1 has to just make a flash miracle play, but he's in too early and will be taken down. Both junglers out of the pit, though, as it was way knocked out. Needs to get in the pit, needs to get the spike, gets it mid-air. And now RNG can open up the meat grinder. Yao Yao, the sacrificial lamb here, but the pillar keeps Kepler in the play as well. Ming gets that concussive flows onto Kepler. The passive is there, and a double for Xiaohu. Hoya knocked into the wall and taken out by Gala. Breathe flashing at Yukal. He wants to end this one. The grass procced, and there goes the triple for Xiaohu.
Decimation when it comes to that fight. Baserun tries for the hero play, but just can't find it. RNG managed to take him down. Wei even gets back in the pit for the smite, and they just clean up the kills. Yes, there were a couple of moments where TT tried something, but this was just a one-sided domination from RNG. They mean business, and they want to make this a 2-0, and they will get this first game of the series.
They need a 2-0 to still be able to contest with JDG in the standings, and they are looking at it right now. Do you see that pillar as well? Just keeping Bajon stuck against the wall. Gala! Wait, we said they needed 2 kills on Gala to ruin his Civic KDA. They find the second kill at the end. Gala's KDA is cut in half.
Good work. That's, you know, I see that as a victory in and of itself. And it's funny because both scenarios, kind of unnecessary deaths, right? The first one, he chases the Ari under the tower, could have just let it go. Second time, the game was over. But I respect TT. They at least get a small win in that scenario.
Yeah, if there's one thing you can't say about Gala, it's that he's a KDA player after this game. That's for sure, because he was more than happy.